Fight Fuel MMA is coming at you fresh off the UFC 252 card with our post-fight reactions. If you don't know, you're about to find out.
UFC 252 went down Saturday, August 15th at the Apex in Las Vegas, Nevada. What'd you think about the card overall?
I thought it was a solid card top to bottom. I was really looking forward to the main and the co-main. The undercard delivered as well, so I think we got to give some time to the undercard on this video also.
Alright, let's get started with the fight that opened up the card. On the early prelims, we had a fight of the night. And of course, we're talking about Kai Kamako versus Tom Kelly. This was a 3-round war between the two of them. What did you think?
I turned it on. I wasn't really expecting anything from the fight because I don't know either fighter. But they were both in there showcasing some really high-level striking and grappling. I felt like Kamaka just had the edge on the whole in the fight. But Kelly was doing all right for himself too. In the end, they gave Kamaka the UD victory.
Yeah, so they definitely had a very exciting fight. Kamako dropped Kelly in the first round, and he had some great ground control, so definitely edged him out with the victory on that.
Not a bad way to make your UFC debut.
Yeah. All right, moving on, we have a couple more prelims that we need to talk about. First, I want to talk about the fight between Herrig and Jandiroba.
Yeah, I like Virna Jandiroba. Came up from Invicta. She was the champ there at strawweight, and she dominated against a very capable fighter in Felice Herrig. Jandiroba took the fight to the ground, and once she got
immediately,
it was a wrap. She was on her tight, securing the eventual armbar finish. Really impressive stuff from Virna.
Yeah, her ground control, especially on someone like Herrig, who is no slouch on the ground. Like we said in our pre-fight video, she's good in all areas. It seems to me that she didn't quite have the fight camp that she was intending. It seems as though, from what Anik was saying in the commentary, her gym got shut down, she's got a new coach, and her coach wasn't even there. So knowing that going into the fight, I was like, oh boy, I don't think she's gonna win. And you know, sure enough, she got taken down. There was a point where I was just like, Whizzer!
Yeah.
Use your overhook! And I feel like Virna just used that to her advantage. So, amazing armbar, amazing jiu-jitsu control. Beautiful. Alright, moving on. The last prelim that we're going to talk about, which was the headliner of the prelims, Jim Miller.
AKA Jim fucking Miller, AKA Jersey Jim, AKA A10, versus Vince from Hell Pichel. Last fight on the prelims, I like to think of it as the main event of the prelims. And we did get to watch Jim Miller make history last night.
Yes.
When he made his octagon walk, he has now had more UFC fights than any other fighter in history. So congrats on making some history, Jim Miller. Miller did really well in the first round. I thought he handily took the first round, but in the second and third, Vince Pichel figured out Miller's grappling attack and reversed him and won based on just damage and control.
Yeah, it was really impressive to see Pichel figure Miller's very high-level jiu-jitsu game out, and even though knowing how dangerous Jim Miller is, to take him on at that and to dominate him at what he's best at, I would say. So that was really impressive. Jim Miller got to display some really slick grappling in the first round, so that was really cool to see. Sucks that he lost, but
we still want to see you fight. Keep fighting, come back, get a W the next time.
Yes.
That fight led us into the main card of the evening.
A lot of fights on this card. Let's just start them right off.
Alright, the first fight on the main card was a bout between John the Magician Dodson and Mirab the Machine Dvalishvili. It's getting better every time. I'm going to get it eventually. Look, if a nickname ever accurately told of a fighter's attribute, the machine is the one. Dvalishvili goes in there with high pace cardio. He doesn't stop. From round 1 to 3, he was still a 10 the whole time, and he makes a grappling heavy attack interesting. His takedowns are fun. He's always working to hurt his opponent, control his opponent. I thought it was a really good match.
Yeah, and he not only gets hyped,
he stays hyped.
From when he was walking out to the octagon to interviewing with Joe post-fight. Man, that guy is on a level, and he just stays there, and it is impressive. I have never seen someone with so much energy in all of my life.
Yeah, for real. And Dodson, his opponent, is known for his speed, his pace. Yeah. In this fight, I gotta say, Dodson was impossible to hold down. I was really impressed with Dodson's ability to stuff the takedowns to get back up from being slammed.
Oh, yeah. Always impressive. But, man, he just got outclassed that night.
Yep. And I think we can look for some bigger matchups for the machine coming off this fight.
Yeah.
Moving on to the second fight of the main card, we had Pineda versus Burns. Pineda has fought in the UFC before. He's back in the big show. Burns is the brother of the streaking Gilbert Burns. And this was a good fight.
So Burns came in, unfortunately, about 5 or so pounds overweight, which is significant. And even despite all of that, Pineda was able to dominate in the second round with expert ground control. He was able to reverse a takedown that Burns initiated. And just once he got that top control, he did not let it go. Mm-hmm. He ended up getting Burns in a crucifix and just got the ground and pound TKO victory.
Pineda was like, contemplate this on the tree of woe. And he crucified his ass and just blasted elbows to the dome piece, forcing the stoppage. It was a pretty cool fight.
Yeah, definitely check that one out if you haven't. But again, why are you here watching this? Go watch the fights first. But no, actually, finish watching this and then watch the fights.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
And next on the card, we have JDS, Junior Dos Santos, versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Heavyweight fight. To, like I said in the pre-fight analysis, two extremely scary, intimidating heavyweights that can drop each other with one punch.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what happened.
Yeah, it turns out it was a 1-2 that would drop JDS. Rozenstruik connected. JDS kind of turned a little, almost to flee. Rozenstruik followed up with a flurry, put JDS to the canvas. The ref jumped in and stopped the fight. Now, two interesting things about this fight. One, JDS and Jairzinho Rozenstruik are teammates, and you saw Rozenstruik sit with the vanquished JDS at the end of the fight, talking with him. Doesn't look like there's any bad blood.
Yeah.
The second interesting thing is that in a very polite manner, in the post-fight interview, Jairzinho Rozenstruik called out Francis Ngannou for a rematch. That's crazy.
The cojones!
Yeah. This is a man who sent you into another dimension your last fight in like 20 seconds. And Rozenstruik's like, yes, if things line up, I would very much like to fight Francis Ngannou again. Yo!
That's a tough man right there.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a much braver man than I will ever be. So
that is a fact.
Yes. I'm so happy he won. I am just really looking forward to his next fight. I cannot wait to see who he is matched up with, and we know it will be fireworks. So
next fight on the card is the co-main event. A fight with a lot of hype behind it. We've got Sugar Sean O'Malley versus Marlon Chito Vera. And Sugar Sean has been driving his hype train for a couple of years now. He's doing everything he has to do to make him a star. He's flashy, he's in the media, people are talking about him, he's knocking motherfuckers out. And across the cage from him, you've got Marlon Chito Vera, who's just doing his thing, finishing motherfuckers, taking tough fights, and winning.
And he won again.
Yeah.
And as happy as I am for Vera, I predicted him to win.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I love O'Malley. I feel so bad for O'Malley. He has some sort of persistent injury to his leg. The injury prohibited him from really moving the way he normally does, throwing off the strikes he normally does. And this happened in the first round.
Yeah.
This happened very, very early in this fight. And Chito Vera smelled the blood in the water. He saw that O'Malley was
compromised.
Yeah.
And he jumped on him. I mean, the finishing sequence started when basically O'Malley just dropped to the ground. He couldn't support his weight. And Vera just rained down elbows on him, blasted him. Herb Dean stopped the fight. It was a weird stoppage because O'Malley wasn't out. I think it was just Dean recognized O'Malley could not defend himself anymore. The foot was just, that was it. There was no coming back from that. I'm okay with the stoppage.
Yeah.
But, Vera is going to get some of that Sugar Sean rub right now. His name is going to grow from finishing O'Malley. O'Malley, I don't think the hype train is quite stopped yet. He's a popular guy. He's going to rehab his foot. He'll come back. The one thing about a fight ending when there's an injury involved is I think people are going to discredit some of Vera's victory and say it was based on the injury.
It just reminds me of Chris Weidman versus Anderson Silva 2, when Chris Weidman legit checked that kick and broke Silva's leg from the check. And people still looked at Weidman like, oh, well, that was a fluke. And I really hope people don't do the same thing to Vera, because similarly to Weidman, they both earned their wins.
I could not agree more, especially in Weidman's case. He was working Oil Camp, a check designed to mangle up your leg when you threw kicks. So he won due to that technique. Now, Vera said that he kicked O'Malley's leg and he thinks he caused an injury there. Whether that's the case or not, Vera did what he had to do. It's a fight. People get hurt. You're fighting, you see your opponent's compromised, jump on him. And that's what Vera did.
For O'Malley, I just really hope the turnaround time isn't that long for him. I hope there's no permanent or crazy damage. Mm-hmm. We don't have an update on his injury yet, but if we do have it, we'll link it in the description box.
All right, so the O'Malley-Vera fight behind us, we are heading into the main event of the evening. The trilogy between Daniel Cormier and Stipe Miocic. Now, the UFC was billing this fight as a fight to find out who is the GOAT in the heavyweight division, the greatest of all time. I'm just going to say it right here, that's bullshit. The outcome of this fight had no bearing on who the greatest heavyweight of all time is, because the greatest heavyweight of all time is inarguably Fedor Emelianenko. Now that I've gotten that out, it's out, it's on the internet forever, we can talk about this fight. It was a great fight.
Great fight. 5
rounds. Went to a decision. Both guys had their moments. Stipe was rocked early in the fight. Stipe rocked DC at the end of the second.
Ooh.
There were a couple eye pokes in this fight. Unsurprisingly. DC poked Stipe early in the fight, and then Stipe poked Cormier. Was it the end of the second? End of the third.
Yeah.
End of the third, and it was a really bad poke.
Oh my gosh. Instantly, the poke caused the swelling in the eye, and you heard him in the corner saying, I can't see out of that eye. Obviously.
Yeah.
Thank God the doctor didn't hear that, and they let them fight. He felt terrible, But is it kind of like payback for all the eye pokes that DC did to Stipe? Because how many eye pokes has it been in this trilogy so far?
I mean, their first fight, the DC eye poke played a huge factor in his finish of Stipe. He poked him in the second fight too, I think.
Yeah.
So I would say, not that Stipe did it on purpose, I would just say the cycle of abuse continued.
It's the circle of life.
It's the circle of poking you in the fucking eye.
An eye for an eye.
Oh, shit. It's like that Rey Mysterio matchup in WWE.
Oh, God.
They popped his Seth Rollins.
Hammurabi is alive and well.
Oh, shit.
2020.
That is a good point.
Yeah.
All right. Aside from the eye poke, it was a really good fight. Both guys gave it everything they had. You could see Stipe came in phenomenal condition.
Yes.
DC's cardio was improved from their second matchup.
Yeah.
I think DC's back was blown out going into this fight. I don't think DC was ever going to be able to wrestle consistently throughout this matchup. When you saw DC walking into the cage, he used his feet to take his shoes and then take his socks off. He didn't want to lean over to take his shoes off. His back is blown out.
Yeah, it's not a good sign. Take it from someone who has a bad back.
I'm telling you.
He knows all the tricks.
That's why he did it.
Yeah.
So,
Allegedly. I mean, we don't have this confirmed, but that's what we're guessing from the body language that we saw.
Stipe was able to control Cormier in the clinch for large periods of time, using wrist control and an underhook. I did not think we were going to see Stipe out-grapple DC in this matchup, but he did. And on my scorecards, at the end of the fight, it was 3 rounds Stipe, 2 rounds DC. Stipe retains his title, takes the trilogy 2-1.
Sad to see DC retire, but I think it's time.
I think this is the perfect time for him to retire.
Absolutely.
He's got a future in broadcasting.
Yeah.
The UFC is going to use him. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
So, look, DC, enjoy your retirement. Stipe, congrats on the win. I picked you to win. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe to support our channel. We're trying to put out good content for you, and this is fun for us. So,
yes, thank you guys so much for watching. Let us know what you think about UFC 252 in the comments below. Any predictions for fights in the future? Sound off.
Stipe Ngannou, it's my prediction.
Yeah, I think that's official, so.
It's gotta be.
Yeah. Exciting.
I'm
to
down.
see if Ngannou can catch Stipe.
Stipe wins. All right, guys, we're out of here. Fedor Emelianenko is the greatest heavyweight ever.